Welcome to episode 9 of the Last Pack podcast. I'm Matt, your host, with my co-host Joel. What is going on?
I ate so many carbs this weekend on top of playing Ultimate Frisbee.
Nice.
And then I realized I literally drank beer as I played Ultimate Frisbee, and I thought it sounded great before I started, and it did not feel great about 2 beers in when I'm running all around the field.
Yeah, you're getting too old for that. We are getting too old for that.
It was pretty rough. Yeah, it was definitely. It was one of the things I enjoyed doing. We had this Halloween Ultimate Frisbee game that we play where we wear costumes. And we won't get to that part. But anyway, we were wearing costumes, and I was one of the few that was drinking during the game. Most people would just have one after, But I'm like, why is that fun when you can have a beer during the game?
Sure.
And I found out that I'm not what I used to be.
So no card stuff this weekend.
It was very limited on the cards. One big thing is I did prep a couple PSA submissions, which we can talk about. But
right.
How about you? I mean, what was your weekend like?
Not much card related. Listed some stuff, shipped some stuff, but actually, I bought some stuff on PWCC Weekly auction, and that's about it. But I pretty much do that, or at least I try to buy cards on there every weekend. Just a matter of if they're at the right price. But yeah, beyond that, I did not go to the Midwest Premier Card Show in Rockford, which was a new show. Looked pretty decent. Good setup. I don't know how great the attendance was, but I didn't see anybody having super negative things to say. So I feel like, given what we've talked about recently, that's positive.
I mean, it's kind of funny that we have a mutual friend who's brought up the point. I think it's a pretty hilarious point that he brings up about these shows at like turf places, and like how we're getting so many of these shows
yeah,
it's like turf ground.
Yeah, this show is like in like one of those athletic bubble things or facilities with turf on there.
And I thought about it. I'm like,
that's good. It's comfy.
That's what I thought. I was like, isn't this actually more comfy, like in a way, at least, because you hear people complain about the concrete ground at like these big shows.
Rosemont.
We're literally just walking around on turf. That's not bad. Other than getting the little rubber pellets in your shoes. That sucks. That always sucks.
But yeah, aside from that, I lightly followed the backyard break stuff. I got really sick of that story quickly, and I honestly don't care about it at all anymore. And I hope people are done creating content about it, because
I want to say something about it.
It's over.
I don't think they're getting loaded cases. To me,
Neither do I.
It just makes absolutely. Here's the thing: they're one of the few breakers that are like openly just ripping tons of high end right now, and have enough people supporting it. You buy enough high end, they're probably buying it from a distributor or buying it from probably other breakers. Who knows, that are just offloading what they have, right? And who knows, maybe one of these other breakers would have had it. It'd be nice if someone came out and be like, "Oh, that was my case," or something like that had it, and then we could link it back. But they're not. They don't have this inside Panini connection or whatever people think.
No. It's one of those things that, like, it sounds like a fun conspiracy, and then when people start doing math that I'm not really sure how valid it was, it sounds like a great conspiracy, but ultimately it just they rip a lot of product, and they're easy to hate, and they're gonna hit big cards.
Yeah, you rip enough high end, you're gonna hit big cards. It's just weird to me that the first card I ever saw of them, and this really speaks to any press is good press. It was that Trevor Lawrence Gold being hit in the giveaway. And how come that's like the time that we all saw these guys? Like who's fans of these guys before that? And now I find myself, it's weird. I know I'm supposed to, like, quote unquote not like them, but I find them extremely entertaining in their weird.
I'm good.
Frat boy kind of way.
I'm good on them. I'm good on them.
I don't know. They clip really well on Instagram and TikTok and stuff.
I can't say they're on my follow list.
Oh, me neither. No.
But yeah. Anyway, as far as shows go, I am setting up at a show here locally in the Chicago area in Addison on Saturday with some other friends. I know you're not coming, which is a bummer, but That's yeah, I'll be pricing some stuff kind of like Thursday and Friday, just bringing a small value box of stuff and then like one showcase worth of stuff to bring. But don't have super high hopes, but I also haven't set up in a little bit, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I kind of wish I could go, but life gets in the way at times
Yeah.
of card stuff. I really feel I feel like we're going to see shows pick up. I think one thing that people aren't thinking about is that I know in Cali you may not have as much of an effect, but here, I mean, what else are you going to do once the weather starts getting kind of cold? Here, I think shows are going to pick back up a bit. I mean, even if we don't see card action picking up, I think just people being present at shows, people are bound to buy something. And I think we're going to see a little bit more activity in the November or December.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think piggybacking on that, talking about just like where we are with like the sentiment in the market and where I think the market is continuing to go. And if shows are, still, they're still going to be around, obviously, but around and picking up, I think you're going to see even a stronger flood of people going to these shows to try to like sell a bunch of their stuff. I think could be a lot of that over the next couple of months, just heading into the holidays. Like it already happens. Like I've experienced it before, but I think this year it could be a little bit more dramatic. So if you are looking to buy people out or pick up some bulk, could be a good couple of months if you're looking for the right opportunities.
Yeah, yeah, and I think you position yourself pretty well for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been keeping stuff on the side, but I just don't have the time for bulk.
Yeah.
But I'm keeping my eye out for an opportunity. I think that's what I'm building towards. I just don't feel any rush.
Yep. It's good. Yeah, I don't know. Patience is good. But anyway, let's move on. First topic. Let's talk about the concept of the authentic holder for third-party grading service. So BGS, PSA, you can get your cards graded. You can get an assigned numerical grade from these companies, but you can also just get a card slabbed and have it say that the card's authentic. So anybody buying it knows that it's real. If it's not altered, it'll just say authentic. And there's no numerical grade. And I feel like over the last few months, there's been like a lot of people kind of mocking people that don't just get the numerical grade. And so, Joel, I think you were mentioning to me, you like kind of experimenting with this a little bit. So why don't you kind of tell your story and your experience with it so far?
Yeah, I was definitely a person who's been in the camp of just grade the stupid card and just deal with it,
Yeah.
And that was definitely where I stood. So I had a number of cards that I graded. I put them out. Everyone you kind of like says, well, but it's this, but it's that. It's not a PSA 9. It's not a 10, And I was like, forget it. So I decided to take a few of the cards that I keep getting those kind of comments about. I'm going to use the regrade, or not regrade. I'm going to use the recase service at PSA. And this is specifically just for PSA. Because I don't think the BDS Authentic does anything for your card, at least value-wise, could actually take away from the value. I guess maybe SGC Authentic could just because of the consistency of the label. But with PSA, I took 3 cards that have 10 autograph grades on them, and I'm going to actually use the recase service to take off the card grade, just put authentic, and then keep that 10 and see what it does. So we'll see how this goes. This is the first time I'm trying this out. I mean, I can see the appeal because I get what people are saying, but to me, it's just I'm literally just putting like a cloth over my eyes, like and saying like, oh, I don't see what it is.
Yeah.
And so the way my approach is gonna be like, yeah, take a look at the card. It has a 10 autograph grade, and feel free. And if they ask me what the grade, I'll be like, yeah, it's not gem, it's not mint. Look at it, you can see.
When you're getting this recase, so on all of these, just to clarify, all these cards, they are already 10 autos.
Yeah. So in this case, this experiment has card grade with the 10 auto grade, And
So so when you get the recase, they are literally just recasing it, new flip that says authentic, and like they're not even looking over the card or
yeah,
like reassessing like, oh, I don't know, there's 9 auto.
no,
Okay.
no,
So there's
no.
no like
Well,
risk. There's no risk to you on that.
to me, there's no risk, and we'll find out if that's the case. But in the way it's been explained to me by PSA, that's just there's no additional fee when you're not having a grader look at it.
Yep.
In this case, there's nothing to assess. The grade's been assigned.
Okay. And what type of cards did you do this for?
So this is for a Luca Immaculate Auto. It's for an Abdul Jabbar patch auto that I have, and then a Connor McDavid auto that I have. So we'll get to see the results of that after.
Okay. Yeah, me personally, I feel like I've generally leaned on the side of just getting a numerical grade and skipping the whole authentic thing. But
Yeah.
as I've thought about it more, I'm kind of like, I understand both sides of the argument. I do think like when it's a newer set and it says authentic, that's just like, there's something like weird about that to me. Like, and I know there's like not necessarily any like funny business. It just could have come out of the pack and like somebody's like, I don't want this 2021 whatever high end card as a PSA 7 or a PSA 8. So I'm just going to like get it slabbed authentic. But I feel like, do you agree with me that like that kind of like draws questions sometimes when it's newer cards with an authentic slab?
I think it does, but I just think yes, I would say it does. But I think that any person that's not being a snake will be like, "Here's a card. This is why I did it," and this is where it looks, and just more for people that prefer to not see the number on it. So it just
Yep.
looks more appealing to them. But I think people who use it to just flat out lie about a card, that just
Yeah.
deception.
Yeah. But then the other part of me thinks that I understand the authentic thing when I think the best example that I can think of is if I had a pretty high end, like rare card that was like really like a PC card that just for whatever reason was like mangled. Like say it's like a really, really thick set or whatever. And like you really think it's like a PSA 6 or something. And we're not talking about vintage. And I feel like if that's in my PC, it's like almost an eyesore. If it's this like super like special card to me, this rare card, and maybe it would just look better to me if it just said authentic because I just wanted slabs and I want the set and I want the number or whatever. But like, I do not want it to say PSA 5.
Yeah, I think it comes out from modern. It's basically like people just, unless there's a premium on the grade, it almost doesn't even matter. Like they just see it as they're all the same. Essentially, it's like,
Well, then,
which it shouldn't be. But it's like
no. And
anything below an 8, they feel. I think anything below a 9, I should say, they just have
see,
some feeling some type of way.
that's like how I was going to like ask you because I feel like I've run into this, I guess, not that many times where I've like developed a real thought about it, but like, how do you price PSA authentic in your mind? And like, I guess in an instance where like it is a pretty like rare, low numbered, like serial numbered card for one, and then in a situation where it's not necessarily that rare. Maybe it's like numbered to 99. Like, how would you approach that, like pricing wise? Like, what would you think about?
That's tough. I think authentic with the 10 auto does get some premium.
I agree for autos. I agree, but I'm just thinking of just a non-auto, just authentic. Like, say you bought a gold Kaboom, and it wasn't an authentic slab.
I don't know if I would. I would just be like, what's wrong with this thing? Like, let me know the number. Like, it's. I guess I'd have to feel really comfortable. It wasn't some major crease or something where it's a PSA 1. I'd want to know it's like a PSA 7 or PSA 6 slab authentic or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. I think like the rarer it is, the less the less I like care. But yeah, even something to 10, I'm
Yeah.
like, you couldn't just get it slabbed with like as like to me
What
it's
it
like,
is.
yeah, like to me like a PSA 8
Yeah.
isn't that bad. Like especially if it's like super rare.
Yeah.
Like yeah, obviously you're gonna get a premium if it's a 9 or a 10. Definitely a 10. But like a PSA 8, it's like, dude, show me the 8.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
it's near mint. Like it's okay.
I know. I'm trying to think where this works. Like to me, if you're selling a majorly high end card and you don't get the number grade on it, like, and maybe this is tough with like the Brady contenders just because of like the weird stuff with Brady contenders, but there's so many PSA authentic Brady contenders rookie autos, um, and I just feel like there's cards at that level. Once you get a certain price range, I'm not buying authentic. I want to know exactly what I'm getting. I think
Yep.
like some of the mid range cards, like if you do the authentic, it makes sense because there's more people that are looking to. I guess there's more people looking to buy that card as a collector's piece rather than an investment for quote unquote. And I think that might play into it as well because then it comes down to aesthetics and of the case and how they feel about it and how not seeing the number makes them feel.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And like there's if you do look at the card and it doesn't just like immediately something jump out to you that it's like mangled,
Mm-hmm.
then having it being an authentic slab, well, I don't know, that also kind of raises more questions then. Wait, this thing looks pretty good.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes with this round and see if it like helps any of the cards. I just was so sick of the people being like, "Oh, the card's so cool, but it's a PSA 7 or something like, whatever." Like
Yep.
I'm just sick of those stupid jokes
Yeah, I
or
agree.
non-jokes.
I think the only time that I'm like 100% sure that I would do it is like a vintage baseball card or something, or like I don't know, some like set that was like super condition sensitive and you like just want the auto grade,
Yeah.
then whatever.
Yeah, maybe it's because with modern cards there's like a certain expectation of the general range of acceptance. And
Yes.
like if unless it's exceptional, like 10, 9, then anything else it's like if it's not as long as it's not like a 3 or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yep. Yeah. But no, I'll be interested to see how your little experiment goes and if you anecdotally feel like people are more or less interested once they're just in the authentic holder.
Yeah,
And
I
if
mean
you
it won't
start
change.
and
It's
if
not
you start getting questions because you're the shady guy now.
I know. All of a sudden, I'm gonna be like, this guy. This always
Yeah.
has all these authentic cards. I'm like, it's your fault. All of your faults is why I'm doing this. Did all the number grades?
Do they? I wonder, would they send you the flips back?
No, I think they actually change. They use the same number, so I
Yeah,
think it actually
material
adjusts in
number.
their system.
Yep. Yeah.
Because I know when I was adding the auto grade to a couple cards at the national, they kept the original number and just added the auto grade to it, so it wasn't a new flip.
Yep. Okay. All right. Well, that's that. Just have one more short topic before we move on to our longer discussion. And this one just had news today, breaking news in the card world. For previous listeners of the podcast, Joel and I both own some Topps Chrome PSG Paris Saint Germain team sets, which has the first on card Kylian Mbappe autos. So we've been holding our wax. We haven't opened any. And today we saw the Mbappe superfractor got hit, supposedly in China. And I'm a little bit depressed. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a kick in the nether regions a little bit, but the way I say it is, we were really close to ripping ours, right?
Yep.
And I think I had a dream about the super at some point in time. I don't know if it was recently or what, but so apparently my dream was incorrect because it was not in our box, but maybe I dreamt that it was just being pulled at overall. But I don't know, like we still have them, and just one of those things. As long as Mbappe turns things around, we're good. But if he continues down this path, then we're going to continue down the path with him of losing value if he doesn't pull it together.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's still there's still reds and golds out there. I know there's been 2 distinct gold sales so far, as well as 1 red. So
Red did what, around 50?
I think so. And that was also from a seller in Asia.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just run as an eBay auction. I personally think if that card was already graded and selling at a place like a Golden or a PWCC, the number would have been a lot better. I think, right or wrong, sometimes these random cards that get auctioned from overseas sellers, just people feel a little bit sketched out on. But yeah, I mean, the red is still a massive card. The gold's also a pretty big card. So
yeah, it just kind of loses that, man. The card you dream about is gone, right?
Yeah, because I mean, it's like easily a 6-figure card, and who knows, $250,000 or more, 500,000. Don't really know.
But I'll throw a bid in of a G and see what happens.
Yeah.
If it goes up, wherever it goes up, because it will go up, right? Most likely.
Yeah.
It's probably on its way to Golden right now. I wonder who secures it. Who do you think gets it?
I think it's going to either be a private deal. I think somebody that's very, very motivated, that has been on the search for that card.
I think I know who you're thinking.
Yeah, is doing like everything they can to get connected to where this came from. I think it's either that or I think it ends up at Golden.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's Golden.
Yeah.
If it goes to an auction house. But yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think about the private deal, but there's some people with so much cash. I can't even imagine. One day I want to be that guy. I want to be the guy just like throwing out like just crazy stuff, buying people out of cards. The person that people like, just bring it to so and so. He'll like, you're good. And I'll be like, that's fine. You know?
Yeah.
Can you imagine being that guy being able to just make everyone rich in the hobby? Like, how cool would that be? Even though you know you're like the sucker, but you like truly just enjoy what you're getting.
Yep. Yeah. So that was it was a little bummer. I don't know. Like, I had convinced myself. I was like, could be in there. Could be in there. You never know. Never. And if, when you think about the math, and there's 270 cases, and we know like at least 15-20% of them have been opened at this point, you then kind of start thinking like, okay, it's a long shot, but like compared to other products, it's possible.
It's not that long, right?
Yeah,
it's pretty realistic, but now it's over.
Yeah,
and now we have to.
So now I need to convince you to rip so we can get a red or a gold.
Yeah, that would be
with the Messi Super, same box.
Man, what does the Messi Super do?
That I have no idea, because he has other.
Yeah,
he has other 1-of-1 autos, so it's not.
Are those on card though?
Eminence.
Yeah, but that doesn't count.
I don't know if he has a flawless.
I'm thinking like, are there any other Chrome Messi on card autos?
I don't know soccer well enough.
Yeah, because I thought the other one that we've seen is sticker, right?
The 2017-2018 Topps Chrome UEFA sticker.
Yeah, sticker.
There's the biggest card of that is the red, which went at Golden not too long ago, I think for $100,000, right around $100,000. And then another one got pulled recently, and I saw it got graded, and it also got a 10. So, I guess. Oh, there's the Super, which I think what's his name?
Super Base.
Shayway Vlogs. No, there's a Super Auto.
Of Messi?
Yeah, or do they have the Ronaldo?
No, they have the Messi, the 1010.
Yeah, you're right.
They graded at the National.
Yeah, but yeah, that is, again, not on card.
You don't remember the picture by the Eiffel Tower?
I think I kind of do. But anyway, that's enough. It's enough soccer talk, which, soccer, we're less than a month away from the start of the World Cup. So see what we're pumping. See what
I
we're both leaning in the World
I
Cup.
just feel like it's going to be nothing. Like nothing is going to happen with soccer cards. Everyone's been talking about how something's going to happen,
Yep,
and we're literally going to see no movement. But
I kind of agree. Kind of agree. But moving on, we are recording here on Monday, October 17th, and tomorrow is the start of the NBA regular season. It feels like, at least in my mind, there hasn't been that long of a layoff, but I also felt like we went through a long period of the offseason without a lot of news. So that said, I just want you and I to kind of discuss how we see the card market shaping up. And this year is just it's a weird year because we're obviously just on an overall downtrend. And I think, at least to me, it felt like a lot of the helium had come out of the NBA card market like prior to last season too. So I just kind of want to get your take on a couple different questions, specific questions here, but also just what are you thinking about heading into the NBA season as far as the cards are concerned? And yeah, just what are you looking for?
honestly, I think I'm looking at the NBA as a product to watch first, and then cards second right now.
Yeah.
To me, I'm invested enough as it is. I got plenty of stuff of anything, any player outside of like the new rookie class. I think I have most things that I would feel good having. Would I want better things? Maybe. Um, I think I'm just keeping an eye on the new rookies, and you and I
Okay.
were kind of talking before this, and so going into the season, I think the first thing I want to get a sense of is like what rookies actually have a chance to be valuable, and one of the first products that you can look at is Immaculate Collegiate or this collegiate line, just to get a sense of what guys are selling the most or selling the most frequent to give you an idea of who's going to be coming out the gate hot when NBA product comes out.
And that was just released last week.
Yeah, and so that was interesting. I thought for sure like one of the first sales I would see is like Chet Holmgren, just because of the name value. But I feel like the injury really hurt this class, like as far as right now, because people are like, well, I got till next year or whenever later this year. There's no rush. I mean, unless you really want a college Chet Holmgren. But I was shocked. I didn't realize how expensive Jaden Ivey would be because he's had a few surprising sales early, and I don't think I've seen a single Paulo sell yet.
Yeah. Yeah, that is interesting. I've never really paid attention to the collegiate products. You've kind of turned me on to some of these like more high end Panini releases that the collegiate products, when timed appropriately, they can actually be pretty decent rips because people are just like chomping at the bit to have cards of these guys. So, like you said, it's not like all telling, but at least gives you an idea of like what are people going after. And yeah, us just looking at some completed eBay sales over the last day or two, it seems like Ivy is going to be popular.
I mean, unless it's the same guy buying all of them, and I didn't check that out yet.
Right. Yeah, it could just be like some super collector that was just like waiting for all the Ivies to hit eBay. Um, yeah,
But
that
he
is
did come out
interesting.
hot
So
in preseason so far, right? Ivy, like he's had like a few moments of being just a
he's
high
had
motor
some.
guy.
He's had some like interesting plays. I don't know how well he's actually played, but yeah, I guess that's kind of the point. Is like he's a guy that's like getting attention, which is like more important than like being a complete player. Like it's like you want the highlight guy that is going to be on ESPN or on Instagram or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But is I guess like looking back, like is this generally just always something you're thinking about coming into the season? Is just like, all right, what rookies are like actually going to sell? Like, is there anybody worth looking at?
Yeah, that's my first unknown that I'd like to answer every season.
Yeah,
Is what do I feel about this new rookie class? And I know you got time, but to me, there's so many people that hate on the college sport, the college wax game, and trust me, it's not bad. It does
yeah,
pretty good. If you jump in right away and kind of just sell and just holding the rest, and then
yep.
just lot out the rest, it does well.
Hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm definitely I'm curious to see who out of this class emerges too. Like you said, I think Chet had the most hobby upside, so that injury is really bad. I think Paulo is going to be really solid. I just don't know how much the hobby is going to love him personally.
There's just so much talent on the Magic, like just so much
Yeah.
like untapped talent. I don't know if that actually translates to NBA like success, but
Yep.
just there's a lot of people that you want to see do something.
Yeah, but I think Jaden Ivey, he kind of has that high flyer excitement potential, and I do think he landed in a good spot as far as a young team that people are excited about. Playing with him and Cade, that's pretty good for him. But yeah, I don't know. I'm also like I really have not touched any of the rookies even from last year, so I feel like I'm just like completely out on any of these guys. Like I'm almost still focused on like, oh, like Scotty Barnes, Cade, Giddy, like who are the guys out of there that like make another leap this year and solidify themselves as like, okay, this guy could be like a top 20 player, you know?
Well, the funny thing is that you can still buy wax from that year right now. It's so we have select first off the line releasing tomorrow,
Yep.
and that's guess who the rookies are in that product. It's Cade, Scotty,
Yeah.
etc. So you have this overlap right now of both classes going, and we're already in the next season. So it's like even if you were prospecting those guys or you laid off, you still have some big products left for the year.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's just like screwing with like everything because like it's so off. We're so off right now because like to me by memory, I remember Prism. Like we would be getting hyped about Prism right now coming out in like a month,
Yep,
you know,
you're around
and
Christmas
that's kind of
time.
like the introduction to like the first real kind of like exciting basketball product with rookies, and we don't get that anymore. And I don't know, like they have to like get that back on track eventually,
Mm.
but
I don't know if they do until the Fanatics take over.
yeah, yep,
Until that all rights the ship or what, or maybe it just doesn't matter anymore for them.
yep. All
I
right, but one
remember.
question. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just remember the most exciting thing at the National every year would be you could either look forward to exquisite basketball releasing right at the time of the National, or you could look forward to once Panini kind of went ahead full steam, be National Treasures releasing at the National, which
Mm,
was awesome. Like you would be there. It was like added an air of excitement to the show. You'd walk around, you see all these new hits, and I feel like we've lost that a bit with like
yeah,
those big hits coming out. People being able to have access to them. You see people just rip and being willing to just rip and sell and flip it, and they have it out in their showcases, and you can actually pick out cards. We're really missing that right now with these prices.
yep, yep. So we're still waiting on Flawless for the
Yep.
Cade Barnes class, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that'll be the next LeBron triple. What will they
Oh
do this year? The Kobe triple logo man.
no, can they even make cards of him anymore?
I mean, yeah, I think they can, right? Or well,
I don't know.
that's a good question. I'm trying to think if I didn't open enough actual NBA product last year to actually know
Yeah,
if he's in anything.
yeah, I don't know. So, yep, you do your research so you can start pumping your last Kobe Panini set ever.
Man, triple logo man. That I wonder how they're gonna top. They're thinking of a new chase, right? To kind of top their LeBron triple from last year. They have to
Yeah,
be thinking of something bigger.
yeah.
That's
All
interesting.
right. Well, anyway, let's go back to our NBA discussion.
All
I
right.
do have a couple questions for you. So, first, who do you see as the players in terms of the card market have the most attention being paid to them right now? And it could be positive or negative. Like, who do you think has the most attention, eyes on them coming into this season?
I mean, it's an easy answer to me, and maybe it's the most common one would be Zion.
Yeah.
I just think that so many people are excited to see him do something. I love seeing him play. I hate seeing him walk because anytime I see him walk, I'm like, oh no, here we go again. Which I know I shouldn't think that way, but To me, that's number one. How about you?
I think it's Zion. I think Anthony Edwards is definitely like a pretty close second, just because, like we've talked about in the past, it seems like he's one of the guys that as soon as the season ended for him, people were like really trying to like get out front and like buy some of his big cards immediately. And I think his stuff has been run up quite a bit. And there's this almost like built in assumption that he's going to be like a big time superstar this year. And so I think there's a lot of eyes there.
I mean, that team is so interesting though with the T-Wolves with Rudy Gobert. Like, if on paper, I know that's always the key word, is on paper, just the size of that team is insane. Yep. And it's funny to me thinking that, 3 years removed from Anthony Edwards' rookie year. Speaking of collegiate products, I was ripping a ton of collegiate product that year, and I was pulling Anthony Edwards like crazy. And I kept thinking to myself, why can't I just pull LaMelo? Yeah. And so I kept selling me Anthony Edwards, hoping that I would pull LaMelo. Because the whole knock on Anthony Edwards at the time was that he was undersized. They didn't know about if he'd have the NBA drive to be able to succeed, and I think he proved it all wrong.
Yeah,
for sure. And I wish I held on to some of those collegiate, even though they're collegiate, they're beautiful and they had nice on-card autos, which I cannot say about the current Immaculate.
Yeah, doesn't look good. Yeah, those two guys are really sticking out for me. I do think there's going to be definitely eyes on LeBron, just because how last year went, mixed with like the continued controversy over just, is their team going to be competitive? Is he going to, he's probably going to break the scoring record this year, but like, does his stuff see a rebound, or does it kind of just continue to go down? Like, how are people treating him in his final years? As far as the card market goes, like, I just think he's kind of an interesting one based off of kind of like his team and just the timing of where he's at in his career.
I think there'll be enough hype to keep him going. I think if you're able to get the perfect storm of LeBron, breaking the Abdul-Jabbar record. Yep. The Lakers are a playoff team. There's team chemistry. They're winning a good amount of games. Then yeah, I think his stuff can go up. But I think the 20K thing will have its moment, and there'll be some hype. But I don't know if that's enough hype to like make him gain significant value. I do think in time, just LeBron stuff in general will be eaten up, because I think he's in that Jordan camp for collectors, where we have the loyal LeBron collectors that will just be eating his stuff up at some point again.
Sure. Yep. I agree. I just think there's always a lot of attention on him, but I think people that are in more of that like speculative realm on his stuff, or maybe not buying as much as like the high end, they like want to potentially see a spark of like, oh, well, like what if Anthony Davis is good and healthy? What if the team's better than people think they are? And, what if they actually look like they could be strong in the West? Like, does LeBron stuff kind of like rebound and see a bit of a jump again? I don't know.
I mean, the fact that he's like, how old is he now? 37?
I was just say 38, but I don't know if I'm off on that.
Well, I know his birthday's around Christmas time, right? Or in December.
Okay.
So he's 37. He'll be 38 December 30th.
Okay.
So he'll be 38. I mean, what else can you expect out of this guy?
I don't know. You don't have to get defensive, Joel. All I was trying to say was who's going to have card market attention on him this year. I didn't come at you like, yeah, dude, Kobe's better than LeBron. Like that, then you can get defensive. You can get defensive there.
Okay, continue.
Yeah. Okay. As far as that's like kind of I was thinking about this as we were talking about the rookie stuff in last year's class, and then guys with attention on him. One person that I feel like has no attention on him, and this is like not a good thing, is LaMelo.
Well, he got hurt early though, which is already kind of a thing, right?
He did, and like the Hornets are going to be super bad, and they have a whole bunch of issues.
They lost Miles Bridges, right?
Lost Miles Bridges. I just saw this morning James Bouknight got arrested for something, and they're going to suck. Like they're going to be totally irrelevant in the East, and like we always talk about, as far as like how people like to like prospect and speculate, losing kind of a year where like the hobby has kind of forgotten about you and you're not relevant is just like huge, because there's another class to move on to. There's another class to move on to. And I think he's in a scary zone because he's been passed by Edwards in that class for sure, as far as the hobby darling.
Yeah. I mean, that's what playoff success does. Yeah, you know, when the T-Wolves won the championship last year.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. But yeah, I don't know. I've been thinking about other guys like that are good and even like a little bit older than him. Really, really good prospects that people have been high on for one reason or the other, but they're kind of like getting to the point where they need some sort of catalyst to like really get their card market moving. And the other guy that I was thinking about was SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, just like continuing to play on an irrelevant team. Super good player, but like he's 2018 class, so like he's gonna have another year of them sucking, and it's like who's wanting to put their money into a guy next year? It'll be what, year 5, year 6? Like at that point, it's kind of just shoulder shrug.
I mean, people are always looking for just someone who puts up good stats to collect as a kind of value play. So I think those are the people that look at SGA because it's hoping that, you know, hope for that trade value or whatever it might be, just some kind of catalyst. But that's, I don't see anything moving the needle unless he starts just really putting up some massive numbers.
Yeah.
Which I guess, what else is there to do in OKC this year?
I don't know. It kind of stinks. That's like where the Chet thing comes back into it too. I feel like if Chet was there, they actually wouldn't have tried to tank as hard this year. So kind of hurts him.
Chet and Wembanyama. Yeah.
They that would just be ridiculous.
Like just the amount of height and skinniness. I can't imagine being that skinny, but man.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, moving on to, I want some personal predictions now. And this will be a little bit of cards, but also just general NBA speak. Who are some players, doesn't have to be in order, that you think will actually see big increases in value over the course of this season? And there's actually, you know what, a better way to phrase that in this type of market? Who's not going to lose value? Who's going to maintain their value or go up?
I see LeBron. Okay, that's so stupid. I see LeBron maintaining his value at minimum. I don't see LeBron losing value where he's at.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know it's a stupid answer and kind of.
He doesn't. Yeah, he like almost doesn't count.
Yeah, right.
He's like legend.
It's almost like collecting like
Jordan.
Michael Jordan at this point. He's just gonna. It's people are just collecting the name. Well, I know Westbrook's gonna go down. That's for sure. Ooh, Anthony Davis has a chance, but I mean, we're talking about who I will truly believe will go up, not who I'm predicting.
I mean, it is a little speculative. It can be fun. Who could you see? Who could you see like the narrative is set up for them to have kind of a card market increase?
I mean, where can Anthony Davis go but up at this point?
Yeah.
I mean,
unless he gets injured again.
Yeah, but I mean, I think I guess he's always heard the critique, but especially after last year and what happened to the Lakers. He has to have some level of major motivation to not take a minor injury.
Yeah.
I know it's a simple one. Why don't you do one and I'll think.
Okay. I've got Giannis. I know that's another boring one. I think he's getting into that group of the right people are buying his high end cards. His team is going to be relevant and solid. Like, even if they don't win the finals, you can almost like chalk them in if they're going to have a pretty high seed in the East. And he's just regarded as one of the most dominant players in the league. So I kind of see more people seeing him as like this like superstar face of basketball, behind LeBron, behind Curry. So I think he's one. And then one that I think is my speculative one is Michael Porter Jr. I think the Nuggets are going to be quite good this year. And I think he's the type of guy that can just, if you put shooting around Jokic and like scoring, like he could have some nights where you've seen the guy when he's really feeling it, he can score. So I could see his stuff because he has really gone in the dumps as far as, his hype and all the worries about his injuries. I think with the Nuggets being relevant and just that team being better, if he gets an opportunity, I could see his stuff getting a nice little boost.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm really thinking. I guess my mind always goes to the injured guys for upside, and to me, one of the biggest guys I was thinking as far as Curry. I feel like he's maintained. I'm trying to think what he could actually do to go next level. But you have Wiseman coming on that team, and if Wiseman makes a significant difference on that team, then I think he's got a lot of room to get some hobby love, just because of the team itself, and if he just really just finds a place in the heart of those fans, which I think he already has. There's a lot of speculative movement on Wiseman, but so if he doesn't live up to it, he's going to take a nice hit. But if he does live up to it, then I see some quick growth on Wiseman.
Yeah. Okay, let's flip it. Who do you see as big decliners? And I can start you off. I'll start you off on one.
Yeah.
Devin Booker.
Oof.
I think time's a ticking in terms of him being regarded as one of those really top hobby guys. And I personally think the Suns are not in a just great state of affairs. I think they're going to regress a bit. And to me, he's just not that guy. I think he's super good, obviously, but I think he's been in the league long enough and people have tried to make him this like, oh, he's a superstar, top talent, top 5, top 10 guy. And I think we're going to see some big declines in his cards.
This one really hurts me to say because I really like the player, but Klay Thompson could be one of these guys that ends up getting lost in the shuffle. And, I really like Klay a lot. And that's my fear, is that he kind of gets lost in this team just because of, you have Jordan Poole like just kind of nipping at his heels. Actually, might have surpassed him right now until Klay is healthy, if he has that level in him anymore. There's just I don't know how much money the Warriors can keep spending. So if Klay ever gets out of the Warriors, that's a big hit.
Yeah.
So I have some worry there about Klay. As much as I'd love to see him become Klay of old.
Yep. Yeah, my other one is what we talked about before, LaMelo. I think LaMelo, he's already seen a big decline, but I think it's just going to keep going in that direction.
And as far as last year's rookie class, to me, and this could just be my lack of experience of Scotty Barnes, but to me, being on the Raptors just doesn't endear or doesn't create hobby value. And I would be surprised if Scotty Barnes breaks out and actually becomes a hobby darling. Just because I'm like, what does he do that's exciting for fans? He puts up nice, solid numbers.
Yeah. You hear a lot of people like swoon over him, and I'm not sure if it's hobby people conflating basketball good with like hobby good. I don't know. I feel like there could be a little bit of that because he doesn't seem like he fits the mold of the guy that the people in the hobby want. But I could be wrong, and I really haven't watched him enough to have a strong opinion.
But hey, it's gut feel. I mean, I wouldn't buy. I'm too afraid to buy Scotty until I see more, of him.
Yep. Okay, well that was fun. I do think there's definitely some other guys with a lot of pressure on them, and one actually, my as far as biggest boost, honorable mention that I have is Durant. If the Nets are good, and most of that is based off the fact that like some of his cards have had very, very extreme sell-offs, and if they're right there in it and he's kind of in an MVP conversation leading them, you could see a nice spike. But
Kevin Durant's getting old.
He is getting old, and it just feels like people don't like him.
Yeah, and
so there's a ceiling. There's definitely a ceiling to it, but yeah.
Yeah, and I have some nice Durant sitting in that's put away, so I'd love to see that happen. But down at that Nets team, I really hope, just for them, I want to see the Simmons, Kyrie, Durant combo do something.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
I'd love to see them embrace being the heels of the East.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now totally non-card. Give me your pick for Rookie of the Year. Who do you got?
Well, given how little I know, I would have to go. I'm just going number one pick in St. Paulo.
Yeah, I am too. His odds are pretty heavy. I think he's the type of guy that's like, he's just like NBA ready, and he's just gonna like score and be good right away and put up the stats. And so
I want him to normalize cramping for LeBron. show him that cramps are serious. All right. Yeah.
All right, MVP. Who do you got?
I don't think it goes to Jokic for 3 years in a row. I think we go back to Giannis.
I think Jokic will deserve it, but not get it. I'm going to go with Embiid.
Oh.
Yep.
Just because of the hate last year and him being salty about it?
Redemption. And that's also going to lead to my next question. Who wins the West? Who wins the East?
I guess in the East. Screw it, I'm going to take the Nets. I'm taking the Nets in the East for the fun.
All right.
Yeah, I'm having Ben Simmons telling everyone to F off. In the West, I'm going Clips for the Kawhi. Oh, we didn't talk about Kawhi. Anyway, the big Kawhi. I'm loving the John Wall storyline. I love the Kawhi comeback storyline, and those thick thighs on Kawhi. And Paul George accepting his role is not as good as Kawhi.
So Brooklyn Clippers. Okay, Brooklyn Clippers. Then who do you have? Sick. Who do you have?
I would take Clips because Kawhi is a killer if he's healthy.
Okay.
This will never happen. I don't see this finals ever happening. But
that's your
this
pick,
would happen in 2K. Well, I'll do this 2K matchup. I'll let you know how it goes.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go. I got the Sixers out of the East, and I have the Nuggets in the West. And I think the Sixers win. They're my pick.
Oof. That just seems so weird. I know that's the most realistic. Like, obviously mine is like a shot in the dark. Like, yours is a very realistic option. But it just doesn't seem right to see like the Sixers like raising the trophy.
I think the East is going to be so competitive. You could name, to me, like probably 4 teams that wouldn't surprise me: Bucks, Sixers, Celtics, and maybe Heat. But yeah, to me, it's in Brooklyn. I forgot about them, Brooklyn. But yeah, I don't know. I think the Sixers are good. They added some like random depth pieces, and I think Embiid's going to be on just destroyer mode again. after getting gypped on what he thought was gypped on the MVP. And then for some reason, I have hope that James Harden's going to take his job seriously.
I mean, he said he's lost 100 pounds in the offseason. Right?
Yeah. And I think Maxi's really good, and I don't see any reason why he doesn't make another leap. I was actually looking at some of his stats. He's a really good shooter. At least he was last year. And yeah, between Harden's playmaking, him obviously still is a scoring threat, even though he's kind of lost a step, and then Embiid, Maxi, and some more depth because they didn't have much depth last year. I think they're going to be really good. So that is all I got. Just to finish things off real quick, we're going to do for you, guess the price of 3 cards. We're going to do boring cards, and it's going to be along the lines of our discussion about who's going to be a riser and faller over the course of the year. And you have to do this blindly, so don't be cheating on your computer.
I won't cheat. I'm looking and close my eyes.
3 cards. They're all going to be boring Prism Silvers, PSA 10s. What do you think a Zion 2019 Silver Prism goes for right now?
PSA 10.
Yep.
I would say 2,000.
Pretty close. It's like, I'm going to say about 1,700-ish. So pretty close. In 6 months, is that card going to be worth more or less?
I think it'll be flat.
I think it'll be flat. Okay. That's a valid answer. Same exact thing, Luka 2018 Prism Silver.
2018 Prism Silver PSA 10.
Yep. It's a pop of 2,152.
2,500.
1,900.
Oof. Man, I was going to say 2K on that too, and I was like, no, it's got to be more than Zion.
Is it worth more or less in 6 months?
I want to say Luka will be worth more, but we didn't even mention the Mavs in all this. But that being said, will that card be worth more? I don't know. I just don't have tons of faith in Prism Silver PSA 10s, but I could be wrong. Maybe
yeah, that's why it's kind of fun. It's like it's not just a player thing. It's like, does the trend of the silver being over continue?
But that card went up to 10,000, right?
Yeah, and you would imagine the pop is kind of close-ish to where it's going to settle. Like it's probably not going to go to 3,000.
Yeah.
So,
I just don't see it, man. I just feel like those cards are what they are. I mean, I guess if Luka gets hotter, I'll say 2,300. Those are 2,300.
So you're going to say it's going to be worth more in 6 months?
I'll say worth more.
Okay. All right. Final one we will do. The other guy that we mentioned is a lot of eyes on, young guy. Anthony Edwards, Prism Silver 2020 PSA 10. It's a pop of 913. What do you think they go for right now?
I wonder if that's a pop that's going to grow significantly now that PSA prices are down.
Yeah, but how much of that wax didn't get ripped?
Yeah, but there's a lot of people that are probably sitting on cards that they didn't want to grade. 913. Is that like 3,000?
$3,000?
Yeah. No, wait, no. It can't be. Because like people have been up, kind of like burned. They got more realistic. 1,200.
Right at about 950.
Yeah. Okay.
This one's actually, as far as recent sales, all in a pretty close range between 900 and 1,000. So,
man, the pop got me thinking that it's got to be more.
$950. Is it more or less in 6 months?
I think there's room for that to grow. Like if he truly does what people think, then I think at that range, people will start comparing him to his comps, right? So people start comparing him to the Luka, start comparing him to the Zion, and they'll be like, if Zion's worth this with a pop of $1 million, then Anthony Edwards has to be worth that. And I think that's going to happen. So I think Anthony Edwards will go up.
Okay. Bonus round. LaMelo Ball, Prism Silver PSA 10. Pop is only 195.
Whoa.
Tough grade.
700.
It's like $1,100,
Dang, he's more than Anthony Edwards?
and I think it's all because of that pop.
Wow.
So that one's interesting, because the pop is so low. There probably aren't going to be a lot of sales.
How's that possible? I mean, unless it truly was that. I wonder what the grading pop looks like for PSA 9s both.
Yeah, there's 195 PSA 10s. There are 936 PSA 9s. That's a tough 10. I've never tried to grade that. I've never tried to grade that card, but
I graded like one of the orange ones, and I remember it got like an 8.5. And I looked at it.
LaMelo?
Yeah, LaMelo orange, cracked ice, whatever they were.
Yeah,
orange something.
Yep. So yeah, that is interesting. The discrepancy in the pop between him and Edwards, and the fact that he's still technically priced higher. And I think all of it's just like we described, it's because of the pop. So, all right, that was fun. Yeah, I'm excited about the NBA. We'll be hopefully talking about it a little bit more. And Joel, you got anything to finish off this episode 9?
We didn't really talk much about QBs, which would be interesting. But yeah, I mean, we need to talk about quarterbacks next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's think about that.
All right, cool. Thanks again for listening in. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. We appreciate any comments as well. So shoot us a comment. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you all next week.